Mention the name Franco Spinelli in Edmonton's Little Italy, and you're almost certain to get a smile of recognition. He and his businesses were and are a vital part of that community, and his influence continues to this day. Spinelli was born in the picturesque village of San Pietro El Tenegro in southern Italy and emigrated to Canada in 1951.
Well, he ended up in Edmonton because he injured his back in a mining accident in the Yukon, where he had gone to work because the pay was good. He had to come down here to take rehabilitation courses, and I think he took one look at Edmonton and never left.
After trying his hand at various jobs in Edmonton, he began importing Italian espresso and magazines for local expatriates. When demand for other items arose, he realized he was onto something.
People started telling my dad that, kept asking what was happening in Italy because they didn't have TVs or radios, they didn't understand English very well, and they were wondering what was happening in Italy. So my dad started to import Italian newspapers, and although the newspapers were 4 or 5 months old, people were so happy to read in their native language what was happening in their country. They were thrilled, and then a couple of months later they'd say, this is wonderful, but now we don't really have a good espresso here. So my dad started to bring in espresso. They said, this is good, we've got our news, we've got our espresso, but there's really no good olive oil here, and so on and so on. So my dad started to bring in olive oil, then pasta, so on and so on. So we have over 20,000 items from Italy now.
Eventually, the store moved to a larger lot on 95th Street, the Italian Center shop, which was more like a shopping center. Now there was a coffee shop and retail space for a barber, tailor, and butcher. Business was booming for Spinelli, who now expanded his business into importing and wholesaling the best Italian products. Yet the family atmosphere still prevails. Spinelli bought lunch for all his employees on Tuesdays, a tradition that continues today.
Frank was the kind of person who did his good works behind the scenes and quietly. He always would extend credit, sometimes to his disadvantage.
It's really interesting that the stories the most that I hear about, like my father donated a lot of money to the earthquake in Mozambique or the earthquake in Italy, but that's not what people remember. People remember that my father stopped them and said, geez, I heard your son was in the hospital, how's he doing? Or geez, I heard that you don't have any milk for your kids, bring this home. Those are things that people really remember, the really, really small things that he took out of his day to find out how somebody was really doing, and he really wanted to know, he really cared.
Throughout his highly successful business career, Spinelli followed one simple rule: listen to your customers and give them what they want.
Frank Spinelli believed in service, and he believed that the customer is always right, even when he's wrong.
Spinelli succumbed to cancer in 2000, but thanks to his daughter Teresa, his business and personal legacy continues to this day. Thanks to her work, Little Italy has maintained and grown in its old world charm. She continues to hear from the children and grandchildren of the immigrants her father helped.
Whether it's volunteering on a board or helping kids at the Boys and Girls Club, whatever I can do to the community to give back, that's what I do. And my father was the best example I know of the more you give, the more you get back. And I feel the same thing happens to me. The more I give, the more I get back.
Today, a statue of Franco Spinelli still presides over a game of cards in Giovanni Caboto Park.
It captures Frank's manner, personality, and he's looking at the Italian Center store.
Many people in Edmonton's Little Italy and beyond miss Franco Spinelli, but his immense influence continues to be felt in his adopted city, making him a truly great inductee to the Alberta Business Hall of Fame.